Racing Championship, and this is obviously Italy, Misano, and race number 3 is just about to get started. And obviously people love music over here, which makes me, being a drummer, very happy. So I decided to join along a little bit and just give you the joy of what's going on over here before the race of today, Sunday, is about to get started.
Hello everybody, welcome to Sunday at Misano in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. My name is Chaz Draycott, delighted to be back commentating again this season. Joachim Eberts is on the German stream and Fonzie Cebrian on the Spanish stream, and we're excited ahead of the first race of the day here, the third race of the weekend in this fantastic tour of Europe here in 2025. Lots of action ahead of us, and we are very happy to see that we have some great faces and names down on the grid. Lena is speaking to one of them right now.
Oh yes, great faces, even flying in from Mexico. Enrique Harry Duenas, so I really have to understand why you're calling yourself Harry, which is already a great start for conversation. But he became the Rookie of the Year 2023, Vice Champion in the Mexican Championship last year. And this year he's like, let's go to Italy, let's see how the European Championship is doing, because I need a new challenge. And there you are, looking at what's going on over here. So it's so good to have you, and tell me a little more what brought you to Misano, Italy.
Lina, thank you for having me. Well, European Championship is the top of the sport, so we want to see how difficult it is to get here, and it's not that difficult, so we're going to try to maybe make one race and hopefully in a near future make a whole championship, because we believe it's a really cool sport, and opening it to other countries will be great.
You come from a variety of motorsports, and truck racing is the last thing you have done so far. And it's a very quick jump you're actually taking there. We have so many new faces, returning faces in the truck championship. And I know there are barely any trucks out there that can be used. Talking about Sascha Lenz and Jochen Hahn, who are building trucks. So do you have a specific friendship like in over here with some of the guys, or how do you want to start out?
Well, I already approached some teams, but you know, we have to make a smart choice on the truck we are racing, because if we're going to come here, we want good results from the beginning. And everyone is very friendly, so it's going to be difficult to make a choice. But well, they're very open to hear if we can race or not.
Will you call yourself Enrique or Harry if you ever make it over here?
Well, my name is Enrique, and my name is Harry, as Harry Potter, because when I was a kid, I used to have glasses, so Harry is best for me.
All right, and you're also a mentor, which I'm really impressed by, because a lot of motorsports people are not very eager about handing their knowledge to rookies into the next generation. And you were like, no, I want to write a book and I want to tell the people what they can learn from me, which is very rare. So do you have anyone in the field, I mean Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn, they're very strong drivers, that you're like, I want to talk to them, I want to learn from them, to maybe gain some experience before you're even starting out?
Well, right now there's a driver that already has been in the European Championship. It's Theo Calvet. He already opened me the door to Europe. He has his father rented me a truck for making 2-day tests. It was really cool, and they were my mentors for my first time here in Europe. So for now, they are my favorites, but let's see which other driver can give us something, because as you say, I'm a mentor in Mexico for some racing series, but also mentors need mentors, so we're gonna look at it.
All right, and do you have any racetrack that you really, really want to do in Europe? As you just mentioned, maybe we will already see you this year, so where?
Okay, so it's difficult to choose. Obviously, Norbert's truck is fast, so maybe an MIN, but we have a national brand also in Mexico, so why not? It can be also.
All right. So stay with me for a second. We're handing over because our television guests are also joining what's going on over here. So we're waiting for a second and we'll be back quite soon with you. And listen to some music.
It's a very, very busy grid down there, as you can tell here at Misano for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. They all line up on the grid ahead of race number 3 of the weekend. And it's going to be Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn on the front row of the grid. Sascha Lenz will be hoping for a bit of a better race this time round after not getting a valid time in during the third qualifying session. Mark Taylor will be happy starting from 5th. It's Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm starting from the second row of the grid. And as you can see, the sunshine is bearing down on the circuit, but broken up slightly by some cloud. Yesterday's second race was halted by an incredible downpour of rain in the afternoon. But we certainly look forward to, hopefully, a dry race this time round. There is Sascha working very closely with Mark Taylor's team. They all get on very, very well, these guys. They've worked together in the same paddock for many years now. Marcus there talking away with Sascha about whatever may come their way in their race. There is Sascha's new truck for 2025, a brand new front end, new bumpers on these things, designed in association with John Newell and their team. That's a good sight to see. That's the number 24 Freightliner of Stefan Faas making it onto the grid. He was on the grid yesterday in race 1, but after only 7 laps, had to retire due to technical issues. They then went out in warm-up and blew up a turbocharger, so they couldn't complete the qualifying session today either. They haven't been in either of the qualifying sessions for this weekend, unfortunately. It certainly seems like technical gremlins are still plaguing them, and even Luke Garrett's team as well. Luke Garrett broke a shock absorber during qualifying 1 earlier this morning, so they did not make it out into qualifying 2. There's Louis Requenco in the number 64 machine. GPR Sport is the name of the team for Louis Requenco this season. Not quite sure on exactly why, but it's a lovely looking race truck once again. And there is the bright green 100% HVO shark fin on the 5th wheel, the Total Energies partnership, going strong and being well represented with this lovely piece of equipment on the back. It's great that they still represent the 5th wheel on the trucks, I must say. But Louis, while it's a very sponsorless design and it's not a busy livery, it's definitely one of the cleanest on the grid. Same with René Reinert next to him as well. The two of them running very plain trucks, but they look good for it, though. They really do. Ahead of them on the grid, two of the busiest liveries actually on the order as well, which is Sascha Lenz and Mark Taylor side by side. Steffi Halm starting on the same side of the grid as Jochen Hahn. I think for the second race, or first race of the day running as well. I think it was the same yesterday. Steffi qualifying in 3rd position. Antonio Albacete was on the front row, but Norbert Kish was not yesterday. Let's not forget he started 16th on the grid in yesterday's first race and won the race, which was remarkable. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez there, he'll be hoping for a little bit more better fortune in this race. He didn't have a fantastic qualifying session. I think he eventually ended up in 9th position behind Louis Requenco. He's alongside Bradley Smith. We can't say Brad Smith because there's a British driver called Brad Smith as well. There's Sven Volter and all of the squad. And Connie Tolkun as well over the other side of the truck. Great to see Connie back for another season. Bradley and his dad there. Do the best you can indeed, mate. Do the best you can indeed. And Bradley, well, he's leading the Chrome Championship at the moment, heading into this 3rd race of the weekend. But Mark Taylor has been on an absolute charge. I'm going to go quiet now for a few moments as we welcome our international TV audience, and we'll be back in a sec.
Big hello to the truck racing fans from all over the world and the FIA Goodyear European Truck Racing Championship. My name is Lina Vendemaas and I'm very happy to be back in Misano, Italy. And it's Sunday, which means qualifying number 2 for this weekend already took place. And race number 3 for this weekend is just about to get started. As you can tell, Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn made it back to the front. So this is going to be an exciting race. And talking about excitement, we have so many new faces in the race series this year, and there's one guy, he just came over from Mexico, so you had quite a long flight. Mr. Harry, as your nickname is, Enrique, and you just came here because 2023 you became Rookie of the Year in truck racing. Last year you became Vice Champion in Mexican Championship, and now you're like looking over what's going on in Europe because you need even more excitement in your life. And now you're like, okay, let's go for the European Championship.
Sure. Thank you for having me, Lina. Hello, everyone. Yes, we're here in the top of the sport, so we're gonna see if there's a chance to be here soon. It looks very exciting, and we can't wait to be here.
The Mexican fans, I'm pretty sure, love truck racing as well, because whatever has to do with sports in Mexico, I know they're very stoked about it. So what's the difference in between the audience? Are they as crazy as the Italians when it comes to motorsports?
Yes, they are. They are. Even for truck racing in Mexico, it's a huge audience, and they get crazy all the races because there's a lot of stuff happening in the track, same as here. But, we have here the best world drivers for truck racing, so we want to have a chance with them.
And I learned whenever there are Mexicans coming over to Europe, people are very excited about it. You immediately have a lot of fans. I think you won't be alone like much. You immediately will have a crowd around you.
Yeah, sure. We're very known for fighting a lot for competition, and people receives a lot when all the sport guys go to other countries, So even racing right now, Sergio Perez made a very big audience for motorsports in our country, and now everyone's like looking different kind of motorsports. So being here in truck racing would be very great for that audience we have in Mexico.
And we have so many racetracks this year waiting. We're going to Zolder, Belgium, Nürburgring, of course, big one with the Truck Grand Prix. We will be in Most. We will be in Slovakia Ring. Let me think of where else will we be? Lausitz Ring next, and so many more. So España, of course, at the very end. Le Mans, also very big. So do you have one favorite circuit that we might see you again?
Well, maybe Le Mans, because I know it's a very big event. I hope to be there. And we're putting our site in racing in Jarama, maybe, at the end of the year. We'll see if it's possible, but we will be glad to do it.
All right, so he knows Spanish, so you will be mostly at home over there. I can't wait to see you again, and I can't wait to hear Chas Draycott, or British commentator. Also, we have Francis Cebrian for the Spanish audience in the house, and Joachim Eberts for the German one, so see you in a sec.
Thank you, Lina. Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday, and welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's the first race of the day, the third race of the weekend, and we are mighty excited to get the action underway. As you can see, a very busy grid down there, full of personnel, full of fans, full of any sort of supporters for the series. It's always a fantastic experience to be able to walk down on the grid of a racetrack before the race gets underway. We had the wonderful band at the front of the grid earlier on celebrating and giving us their wonderful tones. And all the drivers, as you see now with Norbert Kisch, are just preparing to get going. Finally getting their overalls and gloves and everything on for the challenge that there is around this marvellous Misano circuit. This is the track itself, a very twisty little racetrack, this one. Originally designed for motorbike racing, it has a lot of chicanes and hairpins to think about and some heavy braking zones. So brake temperature around here, very important. 16 corners, just over 4 kilometers a lap as well. It's just over 2 minutes a lap in our race trucks. And at the moment, the conditions are nice and tidy. It's not really too hot, it's not really too cold, but at the same time, there is a lot of cloud over the horizon, as you can see there. It's quite a high pressure area down at Misano, so when it's hot, it's mighty hot, but when it rains, oh, it rains. Trust me. It rained a lot yesterday. It really did rain a lot yesterday. especially towards the end of race number 2, where we had a little bit more than enough rain, to say the least. There's no rain at the moment, though, and we're going to hand down to Lena, who's on the grid, of course.
Jochen Hahn is getting ready for race number 3 of this weekend. I only want one quick word and then he can go into focus mode, because it's about, again, you against Norbert. So do you have any specific aims for today, or just go with the flow?
No, what you say, it's the focus mode. I have a really good time practice. I'm pretty happy with the second place. A little bit nervous, it's not true, but yesterday I have a start like, I don't know, it's the first time I do it or something like this. No, good start, a good race, without accidents. I enjoy it.
And it was only like milliseconds in between you and Norbert in between. So you're very, very close about fighting for the title. So I wish you all the best and I let you go for now. I see you at the podium, hopefully.
Dankeschön.
Yep, and back over there, back to the musicians, look at that. It's so packed over here in Italy. Back to everyone who can wait to see the start of today's race. So can we. And Chaz, how are you? How big is your excitement?
My excitement, as ever, is reaching fever pitch, Lena. I'm very excited for this race. Really looking forward to seeing what Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish can do from the front row. Both of them with 6 titles apiece. One of the headlines of this year is the fact that one of them could be the first ever 7-time champion of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kish has won the last 4 seasons in a row, so he is definitely the man in form to do this. It's the largest change to their livery that they've had in a while as well this year, with the new truck, Bellew Junior. Gorgeous looking racing machine this year as well. We have some very striking liveries on the grid this time. We usually do, but this season has had the largest overhaul of liveries and designs and different teams and so on in recent years. You could say that the entry definitely ballooned. We've got a lot more of them this time round. 17 trucks on the grid for this weekend, 16 full-time entries. Here is the Ford F-Max, the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Ford Trucks, one of our key partners. And May Fisher drives this wonderful-looking machine. There's 2 of them in the paddock. We have the orange and black one you see here, almost nicknamed the Tiger by most of us anyway. And then the blue and white example that you'll often see in the fan village as well. And May takes to the wheel here of this gorgeous machine to serve it up for us to enjoy on these, I always forget the name, the inspection lap, just to make sure that there's nothing spilled on the circuit. None of the fans have come on and spilt ice cream and all sorts on the circuit, you could say. I say that as there was actually one previously where I think we were at the Nürburgring and someone had dropped ice cream on the grid or something. Still, all part of the fun. But it's lovely to see this F-Max back with us once again. It's been 5 seasons now. And it's hopefully going to be many more. And let me tell you as well, while it looks like the F-Max isn't going around the circuit as aggressively as the race trucks that we see on circuit, May really does wring the neck of that thing. She really does push it on these inspection laps. It's absolutely fantastic. There is the number 24. Speaking of fantastic, the number 24 Freightliner. It's great to have a Freightliner back. Oh, I've just been told, sorry, interrupting myself there, but we've just been told that the start has been delayed due to an issue with this truck. That's why we're looking at it right now. Unfortunately, this weekend so far, mainly the reasons we end up looking at this truck is because there's a problem with it. I've only just noticed as well that the number 24 on the doors, they were big silver, sort of darker silver than the rest of it, numbers at the start of the season when they first brought it out. They've changed those to red now in the Tank Pool 24 brand. And you can see Franz Stahlberg from the FIA there, good friend of mine. Little bit of trivia for you. Franz once rubbed marker pen off my forehead with brake cleaner at the Nürburgring. But these guys now clearly trying to figure out what the problem is, and if he can compete in the race, then obviously it's to the benefit of everybody to keep it on the grid and keep it prepared. But if needs be, they will have to drag that truck off the grid. And the start will be delayed ever further. I'm not sure they'll get them to do another formation lap, as we haven't done one yet, so I think there'll be a limit on how long they've got. Seems like, well, we're either about to find out that it's broken and they need to take it back to the paddock. Yes, the decision has been made. Because I don't think that snatch vehicle there would be coming onto the grid if it didn't need to do something. That is a big shame. A massive shame. But as Stefan said himself to Lena earlier on in the day, this truck has been developed, well, the engine itself, which is obviously the key heart of this machine, was only developed at the end of November. It's a Mercedes engine. They've got a lot of support from them. That's why a lot of the silver is on the truck as well with the Mercedes partnership. And they will now lift it from the rear axle. And they will drag it away. That's not the direction they were hoping that truck would be going in, I can say that. Such a shame. It's lovely to see the Freightliner back on the grid, but it's not so lovely to see it being dragged away without its own power. So all the other trucks have turned their engines off for now. We will still get our formation lap as planned, but we will unfortunately be down a truck here. It'll be Christian Ruppert at the back of the grid. Lena is down there on the ground with a quick word for us.
Even with Franz, yeah, goodbye, Stefan. I'm so sorry for them. Electrics it is this time, or what is?
Yeah, obviously they have a problem with the power supply to the ECUs, to the electronic control units of the truck. Can't start the truck, so therefore we had to recover it now to continue with the start procedure.
I'm so sorry for them. They really, really tried hard to be here in Italy and to be on the racetrack, but so far they didn't manage. Now they have more time for the last race, so let's see if they at least have one race of this weekend. And now we can get on with the main race to come and run.
And there it is, being dragged into the pit lane now. And it's such a sorry sight, isn't it? Really, really sad sight to have the Freightliner dragged into the pit lane, but these things happen. These trucks, you know, they may be large, sturdy, beefy machines, but I'm afraid they can be rather fickle and fragile sometimes. And what is a very tough and solid exterior often hides a very soft interior that is at the very limit of tolerance. In this Freightliner, you'd think and positively imagine that it's a case of development for these guys, and you know, either by the end of the season or even going into next season, the truck will be at such a high performance level. But for the last year or so, Stefan Faast has been one of the, or Stefan Faast and his team anyway, Tankpool 24, have been one of the teams that have really been the standout sort of bad luck charms when it comes to reliability. There are the rest of the teams, all waiting in anticipation. I believe from Louis Requenco's team there, I can see Brandon as well. It's great to see him back once more. Everybody trying to find a brilliant viewpoint of this race. There's so many of them here at Misano as well. A great place to watch from all around. It's a great spectators circuit, has to be said. And we'll just wait now for the start to get underway. I think they have to completely clear it from the pit lane before they can get the race underway, because at the end of the day they need the use of the pit lane. during the race. A lot of the engineers will be waiting, headsets on, watching the lights for when they go out. There's a shot that we see every so often from wherever we may be that shows all of the engineers waiting to shout go to their drivers. Look at that for a wonderful shot there. Look at all of the fans covering those buildings, ready to get a view of the start of this race. Obviously, it's a rolling start as well, so no standing start procedure for them. I think they may just keep Stefan Fast's truck there and out of the way. Is that Fabien Calvé we see there? I think it is. I think he's there with Pierre Dubois as well. Two gentlemen from the French Championship. Always lovely to see them around. But gutting stuff to have Stefan Fast's machine dragged into the pit lane like that with further electrical issues. Door still open on Louis Requenco's truck there in the middle of the pack, but shortly that will be closed and we will be led away by our new pace truck. The pace truck itself, based in mainland Europe, will be driving to a number of the races this season and then doing its pace truck duties before then heading off back to base. And we're going to go back down to Lino while we've got a moment.
Yeah, Stefan Fast, he's so close and was like, okay, we will start the race now. But I'm so sorry for him, so at least want to have one word just so you can participate with him about this really different weekend than planned.
Ja, es ist leider anders wie geplant. Aber lassen wir uns nicht unterkriegen. Schauen wir nach den Fehlern. Wenn es läuft, dann haben wir alles richtig gemacht. Aber momentan ist irgendwie der Wurm drin, ja.
He was like, he's not getting all of the stuff letting him down. He will fight and he will try to come back for the next race. So cross your fingers out there. We really, really hope for you that we get to see you for the race number 4 of this weekend.
Ja, wir werden es versuchen und wir sehen uns.
Okay, so chaka chaka for him. I really, really love the Freightliner. Nice concept, nice thinking, outstanding. But you don't want to be outstanding like this. You want to be outstanding because you're good in the field. Let's see how the race goes.
Well said, Lena. Absolutely well said. It's unfortunate that they've got so many technical issues with that thing. Hopefully, for the final race of the weekend, they can get it out and get some good points on the board to start their season. We're led around here by the brand new Iveco S-E-Way, which is our new pace truck for the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. For a number of rounds this season, it replaces the bio-LNG powered pace truck that Iveco have provided for us for the last few years. And in another change as well, it is driven by Nico of Iveco, instead of our beloved Frank the Tank, who has been driving the pace trucks and official trucks for many years now. And I cross my fingers at the idea of hopefully some more installation laps with Frank around circuits in Europe as the season goes on. But he leads Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn, who will line up on the very front row of the grid for the first race of the day. Antonio Albacete will line up on row 2 with Steffi Halm alongside him. Those two wanting to do battle yet again. And then even behind them, the rest of the drivers that made it through into Q3 as well. Mark Taylor and then Sasha Lenz. But Kish and Hahn on the front row, 12 titles between them. Another 3 titles from Antonio Albacete, and Steffi, a driver that has come close before, but not quite ended up getting those drivers' titles. There is Mark Taylor, the highest placed of the Chrome drivers, with Sasha Lenz in 6th position. Sasha will definitely want to gain places at the start of this race. René Reinert had a poor start in race 2 yesterday. He'll want a better one this time round. Louis Requenco, I think, surprised himself slightly with qualifying 8th overall. He's ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and current Chrome Championship leader Bradley Smith. Behind them will be Clemens Hecker in 11th position. He's going to be alongside Luke Garrett in the MAN. Luke was kept out of Q2 earlier on with a broken shock absorber. Behind them, Jonathan Andre and John Newell, both of them quite surprised not to make it through into Q2 earlier on. They start 13th and 14th. Next up will be Stefan Kirsch and Christian Ruppert making his debut this season. He had a black and orange flag during qualifying for basically a black smoke infringement. Stefan Faust not taking to the grid, unfortunately, in the Freightliner. But as you can see, the blue skies have passed and have gone sort of to the east of the circuit now. And there's quite a bit of cloud cover over the circuit, but you can just tell by looking at it that it's still very hot, very warm there in Misano. It's always humid and quite, as we say in the UK, it's quite muggy at Misano. It's always been the case. It's either baking hot 38-degree heat or it's still 30 degrees and it's absolutely leathering it down. But our field make their way round to the final corner now. And with Norbert Kisch leading Jochen Hahn, they get 2x2 into formation. And round number 3 of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is underway. Seems like quite an even start from the front two. And around the outside tries Sasha Lenz as he goes around Mark Taylor. Looks like Antonio Albacete tries to cut to the inside line. Louis Riquenco has come out of nowhere like a big green missile and he's around. He's bounced off the side of René Reinert. I think he carried a little bit too much speed through the first corner. And as they went to the left, it just didn't work out for him. You can hear him scrubbing the tyres as he gets back underway. I think there was a little bit of contact between Jonathan Andre and potentially Luke Garrett towards the tail end of the order there as well. John Newell has come through also. Bradley Smith side by side with Clemens Hecker through the left-hander. Clemens gets the Scania around the outside, but it's a lovely start from the front runners. Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn right together now as they head down towards the left-hander. Jochen looks to the inside a little bit just to fill the mirrors of the MAN. Big lock-up in the background there from Sasha Lenz. That means that René Reinert can go through. I think has Sasha got a puncture? I think Sasha's got a front right puncture. He does. Damage on the number 3 machine. His day goes from bad to worse. I'm not sure if that was caused by contact earlier. It seems that rear arch has been slightly unsettled. It's poking up a little bit. But Sasha Lenz, when is this guy going to get a break, man? First and second, still Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn. Antonio Albacete holds third. Steffi Halm holds fourth. Mark Taylor holds fifth. René Reinert moves up into sixth. Then it's Rodriguez, Smith, Hecker, Garrett. Newell has moved up a few places as well. Louis Riquenco, though, will feel a little bit silly after that one. He went in a bit too hot on the exit of turn 1, had to take to the runoff, and as he rejoined at the apex, he bounced off the blue truck there. Number 77, René Reinert. He's ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who has a little bit of bodywork hanging off that truck. Not anymore. As it flies away through the left-hander. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way of anybody else. These Goodyear tyres that we run on are very resilient to any sort of debris or punctures. And it's only light fiberglass as well, so it doesn't really cause too much of a threat. Obviously, you don't want debris on the circuit at all. Jonathan Andre, you can see there, has quite a bit of damage on his front left. He was side by side with Stefan Kirsch. There's Luke Garrett with John Newell just behind him. They've raced against each other for a long, long time in the British Championships. But there is Sasha Lenz, the tyre producing a lot of smoke there as it rubs against the wheel and rubs potentially against bodywork. I don't think it is actually fouling any of the bodywork there. But that is such a shame. There seems to be a number of teams and drivers that have started their season off with terrible luck. There was a marshal running across in the background there, I think to get a piece of the debris from the first little scuffle into the first corners. Not for his own collection, I imagine, just to get it off the circuit. Bradley Smith has Clemens Hecker right behind him. That's the battle for second place in Chrome at the moment. Clemens Hecker got a podium in the Chrome class yesterday. Luke Garrett, John Newell and Stefan Kirsch and Jonathan Andre would all love to get onto the podium as well. But at the moment, it's Mark Taylor, 5th place overall. He's doing a fantastic job with this Chrome class at the moment. Now, Bradley Smith is under investigation for overspeeding in the number 11 machine. The white and yellow Don't Touch Racing Iveco there. And it's not often that they'll be under investigation without any hard evidence. It's usually very black and white, I have to say. But I'm sure that Bradley and the team will be hoping there is no such penalty for that. It'll either be a drive-through penalty, or I think it'll possibly be a 10-second penalty added to his race time. So if he wants to overcome that, he obviously needs to clear these guys. Clemens Hecker and Luke Garrett right together behind them. Touch wood, it's great to see Luke Garrett really being able to put in the pace that we all know that he has. Now that the truck is a bit more reliable, he's got a bit more ability to just push it. Now there's an incident between Mark Taylor and Sasha Lenz under investigation. It's always interesting when something like that happens. We saw the teams chatting and having a good laugh before the race, but now it's come to a situation on circuit that's under investigation. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez there, right behind Rene Reinert. Changes for both of them this season. Rene running in an MAN after previously racing in Iveco. That is Norbert Kisch's championship winning truck from last year, the number 77 machine. And then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez fighting now for overall positions in the Titan class after being in the Chrome category and dominating it last season. He moves over to the left-hand side of Rene Reinert, or he tries to anyway. Jose Eduardo is good on the brakes. I wonder, no, he doesn't try it this time around. Rene keeps the truck very well placed in the middle of the road. Doesn't make any moves this way or that way, just all fair stuff. Jose Eduardo's got a great run out of the left-hander though, up the hill. Can he make use of that? No, not quite. Rene cuts back across. Just had a message from a friend of mine, James, who was asked what is overspeeding. It's probably good that I actually explain that to everybody. So the trucks are governed to 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour. It is tracked and monitored by a GPS system. And basically, if the drivers go over it by, even if they say go to 160.5 kilometers an hour, they have a small window. I believe it used to be 2.7 seconds they've got to get it back under 160 kilometers an hour before they get told off for it, basically, because they know that sometimes there will be slight discrepancies with these things. So the drivers have time to rein it back in before they get told off. If they remain over 160 kilometers an hour for a certain amount of time, it will be picked up by the system, it'll be flagged to the stewards, and they will be given a necessary penalty as a result once it's been properly investigated. Penalty marker goes flying there. I don't even think Jonathan Andre hit that. I think it was just purely the air blowing it out of the ground. They have holes that they are jammed into on the exit of these curbs. Jonathan Andre hoping to get back past Stefan Kirsch in the number 33 MAN. Great to have Stefan with us again this season, but this time as a full-time entry to the championship. Jonathan Andre second at the moment in the Chrome Championship. He won't be too pleased with how this performance is going so far, will he? But it's Norbert Kisch, Jochen Hahn, Antonio Albacete, Steffi Halm, Mark Taylor, and then this battle behind him, Rene Reinert and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Nothing has come through yet from Bradley Smith. We've had track limits warnings for Norbert Kisch and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, but nothing else at the moment. And there we go. There it is. 10-second time penalty to Bradley Smith for overspeeding. So that promotes Clemens Hecker into second place in the Chrome class right now, and Luke Garrett up into third. Rene Reinert is also under investigation for overspeeding as well, so that'll help out Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. There is the number 77 now with that hanging over him. But like I said earlier on, it is very rare that they will get investigated for overspeeding without pre-existing hard evidence and a reason to look at it. It's very much a guilty until proven innocent sort of situation with the overspeeding. It seemed like Stefan Kirsch and his team in the number 33 MAN had a bit of an issue with their GPS yesterday, because almost in every session they got done for overspeeding. Either that or Stefan's just got a very heavy right foot. But there's a real art form to that, and that's the thing, you know, it's not about having a truck that's faster in a straight line than everybody else is, or getting into slipstream or anything like that. What makes overtaking and passing in truck racing so important is, you know, it's having a truck that's set up very well to go around corners. They can all get to 100 miles an hour. They could all easily surpass 100 miles an hour. They're way over 1,000 horsepower, all these trucks. with something like 6,000 Newton meters of torque to the rear axle. It's terrifying numbers. Despite weighing over 5 tons each, they still could easily, I'd say, do 130, 140 miles an hour potentially, even though they share the same aerodynamic profile as a 2-bedroom house in the UK. Mark Taylor, I'm wondering whether he wants to fight this or not, to be honest, because at the end of the day, he's leading the Chrome class. He's got 2 trucks between himself and his nearest competitor. Bradley Smith's time. Now, has he actually dropped behind those guys? He has. Bradley Smith has dropped away. And it would be about 10 seconds added on, but he's genuinely dropped behind Clemens Hecker, Luke Garrett, John Newell, Stefan Kirsch, and Jonathan Andre by about 10 seconds. How very strange. So Bradley Smith has had an additional drama as well as the 10 seconds that will be added on. He definitely wasn't there then, was he? He was behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on track. He was in 8th position on the road. But I couldn't see Bradley Smith next up behind these guys. No, it's definitely Clemens Hecker on the road. The white and yellow flash in the background just a moment ago was Bradley, so yeah, something has gone on there for him. Still Norbert Kish leads the way, Jochen Hahn second, Antonio Albacete third, Steffi Halm in fourth, and then this trio. Again, I wonder whether Mark will want to fight this too hard here, because he's leading the Chrome class. He doesn't need to push to get past Steffi Halm. He doesn't really need to defend from René Reiner. The only difference would be in the overall championship standing. Bradley Smith is there, just behind Jonathan Andre. Apparently truck 24 has been fixed. You can see it moving in the background, actually. So, reversing down the pit lane on that beautiful 100% renewable HVO diesel that all these trucks run on. Truck 24, I'm told, will be back out on the circuit. And in the words of my source of information, they will need every lap they can get, and that is absolutely true. That truck really does need some love and attention, doesn't it? It's had all the love in the world. It's a very well appreciated machine, but certainly needs the ongoing development. But they have the right to continue on in the race, so long as they don't get in anybody's way. They won't upset anyone, I suppose. Bradley Smith, though, behind Jonathan Andre. Both of them cannot get past Stefan Kirsch. Kirsch doing a great job at defending from the current top 2 in the Chrome Championship. There is Mark Taylor. He's third in the Chrome Championship. But if he finishes here, with Hecker and Garrett behind him, second and third, and Jonathan Andre and Bradley Smith, well, they're down at the moment in 6th and 7th in class. This will propel Mark back into the championship lead with a great points advantage. And he'll be really pleased with that, considering he retired from the second race yesterday. They had a boost pipe failure, I think it was. Or no, it was the pipe to the radiator, I think, came off. They had contact with Antonio Albacete in the second race. And there is René Reinert's penalty, so that now promotes these guys back up a spot. So Mark didn't really have to try his best to defend from René because of his class position, but now for overall position he doesn't need to worry about him as well. He just needs to worry about Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind him, which is something he did a lot of in 2024. The two of them fighting for the Chrome Championship title for a long old time. Mark taking a number of class wins on his way there. Shame that for René Reinert, because he had a very impressive first day back in the championship. And now he finds himself with a penalty. It was for overspeeding. Steffi Halm has closed in on Antonio Albacete for third place as well. I'd say that's not over yet. There is the number 24 machine, the Mercedes-powered Freightliner. And Mark Taylor has received a penalty himself now for forcing another truck off the circuit. That was the damage caused to Sasha Lenz's truck. So there's clearly a penalty as a result of an incident there. Isn't it lovely to see that Freightliner powering its way around the track? It's such a purposeful looking race truck. Here's Christian Ruppert with the very humorous sponsors welcome sticker on the side of the truck. Christian trying his hand at truck racing for the first time this year on the big stage here in the European Series. Up against the likes of these boys, Norbert Kish, Jochen Hahn, 6 championships apiece for these guys. 1 in an MAN in the red and black, 1 in the Iveco in the white and blue. Almost complete polar opposites in terms of their machinery, but both fierce competitors. And as much as I was saying it's lovely to see the Freightliner back out, Stefan Faas has come back into the pit lane. I have to say there was quite a bit of black smoke coming from it. We have to look now and see what the gap is between Mark Taylor and Clemens Hecker, because as has been rightly pointed out by Barbara Prosk, the head of communications of the ETRA, if Clemens Hecker pushes enough here and stays within 5 seconds of Mark Taylor, and if Mark takes his foot off the gas too much, Clemens could win in the class. We'll have to wait and see what it's like on corrected time. I'll keep an eye on the gap between the two of them, but for now we can keep the eye, or all of our eyes, on the gap between the two of these. Antonio Albacete, he is not getting away here from Steffi Halm. This MAN for them this year, seemingly, I mean, it was great in qualifying 1, put it on the front row of the grid, almost had the race lead at the first corner, but is it that this MAN isn't as quick, or is it that Steffi this year has just got a fantastic Iveco underneath her? She's absolutely on the money. And if she gets this right and gets ahead of Antonio, she could be on for her 2nd podium of the season in just 3 races. Antonio's having to work hard here to keep her at bay. And I've heard we can go down to the pit lane and speak to Stefan Faas. Oh, sorry, Sasha Lenz, I do apologise.
No, we're actually speaking to Sasha Lenz, who had kind of the same issue than Antonio Albacete yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. We have a good start, you know, but then the first 3 corners we were side by side with Mark, and then we have a small contact and the tire was flat, so yeah, you can do nothing, you know.
Yeah, you seem to be very relaxed. I was pretty sure that you're like in a bad mood now, but you're like, it is what it is. Or?
Yeah, what can I do? I can do nothing, you know. The race is for us. It's yeah, bad luck.
Yeah. Okay. You also had some new setups on the truck. You changed that, so you did you feel more confident at least in your truck now in the race?
Yeah, you know, in the qualifying I make a mistake. I touch corner marker, so the time was really good. It was normally P3 in the qualifying, so we make for today a good step. So, but in the qualifying, you make the first point for the race. So I make the mistake in the qualifying, so I start from P6. So now on the end of the day, I have a bad luck.
Well, it's reverse grip, but it doesn't help you much. You were starting from the rear, but we will see you again for race number 4, right?
For sure, you know, we drive a race, and in the race you can all, you know, we see yesterday by Nobby, you know. I'm not Nobby, but maybe a little bit, you know.
Okay, can't wait to see Sasha do the Norbert Kisch Pac-Man today later on. I'm very glad he took his time.
Yeah, hats off to Sasha Lenz. Thank you very much to him for talking to us and taking his time out. Like he said, though, you know, it was only a small contact with Mark Taylor, but sometimes these trucks can be very susceptible to punctures. It's huge wheel-to-wheel contact, and a lot of the time as well, if it's front wheel to rear wheel, the front wheel hubs stick out quite far on these things, so they can rip through a tyre quite quickly. The gap at the moment from Mark Taylor in 6th place to Clemens Hecker in 8th is 8.8 seconds. So Mark would still win in the Chrome class if he finishes where he is. René Reinert has broken away from these pair as well. And someone who hasn't broken away is Antonio Albacete. Steffi Halm completely all over the back of the MAN right now, trying to get another Iveco on the podium on home turf for the brand. And you can see the body language of that number 44 machine completely switched on to getting by. It'd be Antonio's first podium of the season if he can get there. He's still got a few laps to defend yet. Last time round, Steffi was about 1/10 of a second quicker, but she's not really got anywhere to go at the moment other than right up to the back of the number 23 machine. Antonio, a wise driver though, he certainly knows what he's doing. hope he doesn't decode that as me calling him old. But look how much he's pushing there through turn 3, all of the circuit being used, and it gives him a good slingshot down towards turn 4 before he gets hard on the brakes. Steffi just seems to have the front end of that Iveco tucked in really well, mid-corner. Norbert Kish continues to lead and build his advantage, 5.2 seconds now to Jochen Hahn. He's hoping to further extend his championship lead by another 5 points now, which will continue on being Norby's maximum points. Will we see him do another Grand Slam? At the start of last season, it was nearly 3 Grand Slams on the bounce. It was the 12th race of the championship before anybody other than Norbert Kish took a race win. Mark Taylor still well clear of Clemens Hecker. We don't see Clemens on screen just yet. He's just going to be coming through the bottom of shot there in the dark red Scania. Lovely looking machine. Funnily enough, actually, his team lineup this season is with Bradley Smith, and the team is called Minna Maggie, which is the name of the 2 trucks that they're running. I believe Minna is the Clemens Hecker truck, and Maggie is Bradley Smith's Iveco. But look at this now, Steffi Halm all over the back of Antonio Albacete, hoping to get through and take a podium position for the 2nd time this weekend. It's a great attack so far from Steffi. And I'm excited to see whether she can get that move done before the end of the race. At the minute, Antonio is just holding on with enough pace to stay in front of the Iveco. It seems like the cornering ability of the Iveco is just fantastic at this stage of the race, looking after its Goodyear tyres. No concern over fuel either though, but that fuel is 100% renewable HVO diesel as well, powering all of our racing machines. It is one of the most significant sustainable elements of this entire championship. We have electric pace trucks, even electric trucks that get our race trucks to the events as well, and all of the equipment needed for these teams. We have the Bio LNG pace truck too, and also a 55% sustainable material tyre from Goodyear as well that they've brought to the circuit this season. It's a very great all-round tyre. It can handle wet weather conditions as well as dry conditions. They don't have a dry tyre and a wet tyre for this racing. John Newell there all over the back of Luke Garrett, and then Bradley Smith all over the back of Jonathan Andre in the background as well. A good battle going on there between the number 11 and the 66, and then even then Stefan Kirsch under attack from Louis Requenco as well. Christian Ruppert a little bit further off the pace at the moment, but he's still getting his eye in with truck racing, is Christian. He told us yesterday that he came from motocross and sidecar racing, so we know he's got a screw loose in the right place anyway. But then he came to truck racing as well because he thought, why not, let's give this a go. And I thoroughly, like I said yesterday as well, I thoroughly look forward to meeting Christian at a race somewhere, because he definitely shares the same positive outlook on his motorsport as all of us here at the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Last lap board is out then. It's Norbert Kish leading the way from Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. Steffi Halm in 4th position, as we see here, chasing down Antonio for that podium spot. René Reiner is currently in 5th place. He has a 10-second penalty hanging over him. So too does Mark Taylor as well. Sorry, Mark's got a 5-second penalty. I do apologise. He's now 11 seconds clear of Clemens Hecker, so he should be okay. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez will go up 2 spots with how things are at the moment. Clemens Hecker is 8th overall, 2nd in class. And Luke Garrett going well. He's in 9th place at the moment, ahead of John Newell, who's currently inside the top 10. Jonathan Andre and Bradley Smith next up, just outside of that, 5th and 6th in the Chrome class. Stefan Kirsch 7th, Louis Requenco 8th, Christian Ruppert in 9th, Sasha Lenz and Stefan Faas out of the race. It's side by side here, Bradley Smith and Jonathan Andre as they head round turn 3. Jonathan has a little bit of a squirrely moment there as he changes up the gears. Hard onto the brakes they go. You will very often see the rear axles of these trucks hop around and skip as they get on the brakes. Bradley's round the outside into turn 4, round the outside into turn 5. Can he get it done for turn 6? Yes, he can. Lovely move that by Bradley. And Jonathan Andre, hats off to him, gave loads of space there, loads of room for that sort of racing. That was great door-to-door stuff. Bradley stamping his intentions on this Chrome Championship battle, because he was only 2 points clear of Jonathan Andre before this race. He wants to make sure that Jonathan doesn't overturn that deficit here. It's going to be Mark Taylor, though, that's going to take the victory in the Chrome class, unless Clemens Hecker can do something about it. There's Stefan Kirsch and Louis Requenco together. But there is Norbert Kirsch, and he takes his 3rd race win of the weekend and his 3rd race win of the season. Great stuff in Baloo Jr. Norby back to winning ways in a form that he is used to. Jochen Hahn in 2nd place, more big championship points for him. And Antonio Albacete gets his first podium of the season after a trying day yesterday. T-Sport burnout, as you can see, Tim Frost on the pit wall there, punching the air in excitement. Very happy for T-Sport. Well done to the guys. Steffi Halm, 4th place for her. Great drive. Rene Reinert will lose a couple of spots overall. He will lose actually only to Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Mark Taylor also gets a penalty. In fact, he was 5 seconds, less than 5 seconds behind Reinert. So, yeah, Taylor will actually go ahead of him. Clemens Hecker takes 2nd place in the Chrome class. He'll be over the moon with that, and so too will Luke Garrett. Luke Garrett has had technical issues plaguing him for 2 seasons now, and he gets over the line in 9th place overall, takes a podium in the Chrome class. John Newell completes the top 10. He gets an overall championship point, and then Stefan Kirsch and Louis Requenco right to the flag together until the last. But it is Norbert Kirsch that takes the overall race victory. Another one to add to the ever-growing tally, a rapidly growing tally as well for Norby, ahead of Jochen Hahn. And it's great to see Antonio Albacete back on the podium, I have to say. Really enjoy Antonio's constant smile amongst the paddock. I'm sure everybody does. He's been with us truck racing now for 28 years as Antonio. And it's great to see him get his first podium of the championship this year. Mark Taylor will take the victory in the Chrome class from Clemens Hecker, and Luke Garrett takes his first silverware in the 2025 season. And again, that's going to mean a lot to him and the team, especially after earlier this morning. Before qualifying 2, they had a broken shock absorber, so they couldn't head back out. And another race in the books for Norbert Kirsch. He'll be absolutely buzzing with that result, though, especially after yesterday was made a lot trickier by the technical issue that they had in the morning before qualifying. You can hear all of the massive applause from the fans in the grandstand there. And let's have a quick look at the results, shall we? Norbert Kirsch wins from Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. Steffi Halm then ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Mark Taylor does eventually finish ahead of Rene Reinert. Still wins the Chrome class. Clemens Hecker 2nd. Luke Garrett 3rd in that Chrome class as well. 8th and 9th overall, respectively. John Newell is 10th ahead of Jonathan Andre, Stefan Kirsch, Bradley Smith, Louis Requenco and Christian Ruppert. Seems like the cloud that was over the circuit didn't pose too much of a threat in the end. There is Norbert Kirsch taking 1st position once again in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. A quick flash of the lights, as he often does to the team when he comes in. And Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete next up. 2 fantastic looking race trucks there as well this season. 2 MANs and a Niveco on the podium, and 15 championship titles between the 3 podium finishers. How cool is that? 6 from Norbert Kirsch, 6 from Jochen Hahn, and 3 from Antonio Albacete. Another similar debrief to yesterday from Jochen Hahn, sort of, yep, business as usual. think Jochen just talking over how the race unfolded from him. Tim Frost making his way around to Antonio Albacete in the background, and they'll be saying really well done to him. That's their first silverware of 2025. Norby makes his way out of Baloo Jr. and will be greeted by the team with his usual fist pump of celebration. And there it is, and a wave to the camera as well. Great stuff. Gives the boys a hug. Another good day's work for Reves Racing. Third win of the weekend. Jochen, quick pat on the back for him as well. Another race done for him. Just checking over the tyres as well and having a quick look. Jochen, always the analyst. He's been in this game a long time now. He knows the score. He always just likes to make sure the tyres have got enough life in them. He gives the verdict. Quick handshake to Davide Califano as well of Goodyear. There's my good friend Dominic Wilhelms as well from the ETRA. I don't ever see Dominic standing still, and regardless of the weather, I never see him wearing anything other than shorts either.
In your face. Yes.
Apparently something's in Jochen's face. I mean, he does look red hot at the end of these races, to be fair. Davide so enthusiastic about everything he does, though. It's always lovely to see him out and about in the paddock. Another good job and more points. There is Lucas Hahn as well, waiting for his dad. We look forward to the next time we see Lucas in the truck on track. And let's quickly go to Lina with one of our cheeriest drivers in the field, who will definitely have a smile on his face now.
Antonio Albacete, yesterday was not his luckiest day on earth, but today even better, and what a fight with Steffi. How are you feeling now? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it was good after yesterday's result. At least today we have a podium. Yeah, I have small problems on the middle of the race. I think I pushed quite hard at the beginning to be with Norby and Jochen, and I make a mistake, and then since then I said, okay, take it easy, keep the tires a little bit working for the last laps, and yeah, but it was okay. I mean, Steffi was pushing those laps, but by the end, the last two laps, I was able to pull away a little bit, so yeah, happy with the result.
Were you lucky that it was round number 12 and the finish line was waving, or would you have had more power to defend against Steffi?
Yeah, I think I have a little bit more, you know. That's why the last two laps I pull it away a little bit. But yeah, the middle of the race I was not happy. You know, I was a little bit afraid with the front of the track. It was difficult to go into the corners. But that's why I didn't want to make another mistake. But yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean,
okay.
Good, yeah, perfect.
Congratulations, points in the championship. He did so well the last year, so everyone is congratulating everyone. And Norbert, if you have one more second for me in front of the wall, flying away from everyone, looks like you're back to your normal pace. Looks like Baloo Jr. is doing his job, and so are you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think, again, big thank you to the team, Reves Racing. I think we did a good job. You know, a few hiccups here and there, like yesterday, but it's okay. We made the maximum yesterday also, and so far today was very good. Start was not the best. So Johan was very close in the first lap, made some mistakes. I made some mistakes, he made some mistakes. I could see it in the rear view camera. But yeah, he couldn't try to overtake or anything like that, so it was okay. Tight first lap, a bit tighter than I was hoping for. But then, you know, I could get into the rhythm, correct my mistakes, and then do some good laps, and, you know, pull away a little bit. So, you know, good race, happy.
And you have nice points for the championship now. So also one more question, because, you know, you have the cameras. Is it more easy to defend yourself with the new system, or is everything as is as it is?
That's not for us.
No, not for you.
No, the new system is only for the FIA to see. We don't see that.
Okay, all right.
For the review camera, we have our own. So.
Okay, all right. So here is Chess again for you, and it's time for you to get your trophy up there. Congratulations again, and see you in a sec. The highlights.
And yeah, thank you, Norbert Kish, as well. And let's have a look back, shall we, at how this race unfolded. A wonderful show at the front of the grid by the band before we got everything underway. A thumbs up to the fans from Norby, and some good discussions on the grid between the teams and drivers for what the day held for them. Loads of fans covering the buildings, But unfortunately, the sight they would see would be Stefan Faast's truck being towed away from the grid after electrical issues and down into the pit lane. The race got underway. Norbert Kish, as he said, didn't get the best of starts, but he kept holding off Jochen Hahn all the way. Sasha Lenz, unfortunately, having a slight bit of contact with Mark Taylor in the early stages. That would put him out with a puncture. And then the battles begun in the background. It was definitely a great race for the Chrome battles as well. Mark Taylor and René Reinert both getting penalties for different things as the race went on. Stefan Faast made it back out onto the circuit for a single lap, but then saved the truck and brought it back in, while Steffi Halm tried her best to get ahead of Antonio Albacete before the race was done. She was pushing on lap after lap. Antonio said himself that he pushed a little bit hard in the early stages and wasn't quite sure what he'd have towards the end. And we saw a great move from Bradley Smith on Jonathan Andre, but great respect from Jonathan to give the room at the end of the race. Norbert Kish takes the win, Jochen Hahn in second place, Antonio Albacete third, and it's a win in the Chrome class for Mark Taylor over Clemens Hecker and Luke Garrett, who I'm sure will both be happy to get their hands on those wonderful trophies here at Misano. There's Georg Fuchs as well, the managing director of the ETRA, congratulating the drivers behind the scenes. Antonio Albacete makes his way up onto the podium with a thumbs up for the first time this season. Great to see Antonio up there on that podium. Jochen Hahn up for second place. And I believe those two have shaken hands on the podium more times than I've had hot dinners. Norbert Kish makes his way up onto the podium as well. He's also catching up with the hot dinner count with his race victories as well, to be honest with you. Incredible performance, as always, by Norby and Revesh Racing. They really are in a league of their own at the moment. Richard Keinberger there taking pictures with Antonio Albacete and T-Sport Bernau's first silverware of the season. This is Andrea Albani, the circuit managing director of the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli. Jochen has another trophy for the preluded warehouse that I've mentioned that he's probably got for his trophies now. And another one for Norby as well. And there the Hungarian national anthem for Norbert Kish and Revesh Racing. And I believe if we added up the podiums for all of these drivers, there would be over 1,000 surely for the three of them now. Norbert Kish has over 200 podiums, nearly 300. Jochen Hahn over 350, I believe, now as well. And Antonio, nearly 300 podiums. So I'd say nearly 900 podiums between these three drivers. In terms of starts, they've got well over 1,500. Certainly the top three in terms of titles and experience. And champagne as well, it has to be said. They've not got drinking problems, they've got winning problems. What a shame. A good cheers from all three of them. And now they will make their way back behind the scenes with their silverware, their hats, their champagne. And we will prepare for the Chrome podium in a moment's time. But first, let's have a look at the championship standings overall in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kish with an 11-point lead over Jochen Hahn. Steffi Halm still holds on to third place with Antonio Albacete in fourth. And then it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, just 1 point clear of René Reinert. Sasha Lenz on 14 points, ahead of Mark Taylor, Jonathan Andre, and Clemens Hecker, completing the top 10, also on 5 points. So too is Bradley Smith. Luke Garrett has 2 points to his name now, with John Newell and Louis Requenco completing those that have scored points so far in 2025. We head back up onto the podium now for the Chrome podium. Alan Taylor there as well, joining Mark, Clemens and Luke. And third place in the Chrome class goes to Luke Garrett. His first podium in a while, and he will really be happy with that one. Big smile on his face, which is great to see. Clemens Hecker makes his way up to the podium. He was third yesterday, second in this one. Can he take a Chrome class win in the final race? We'll have to wait and see. He's going to be starting on pole position. It's going to be all important for Clemens. But a class win for the second time this weekend and this season for Mark Taylor. He's made a definite stamp on the Chrome Championship to begin 2025. Amazing pace from that MAN and from Mark this season. As he said to Lena earlier, they didn't change too much from last time. They knew it was working, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as we say. Andrea Albani from Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli, handing out the trophies. He's the circuit managing director. It's a great racing circuit as well. What a place to be a managing director of, eh? All drivers received their trophies, and now we'll hear the national anthem of Great Britain for our winning driver. And there we go. Mark Taylor wins the Chrome class in race number 3 in 2025 of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. They pose for pictures. They will, I imagine, get on the top step together in just a moment, and then you'll see really just how tall Clemens Hecker is. He's got to be 6'4", 5". I never actually ask him, to be honest. I imagine he gets it a lot. I always tend to just say he's 9'8". Quick nod from Luke, their first podium of the season. It'll be all smiles in the Garrett Truck Sport camp. We heard from Daryl Stamp yesterday as well from their team. And there you go. Proper champagne celebrations. And very well done to the guys for their respective podium finishes. A good battle towards the end there for Luke, holding on from John Newell. But importantly, Clemens Hecker, man on the right of your screen there, will start on pole position for the final race of the weekend, and he's going to hopefully get some big points on the board. He'll have Mark Taylor just behind him, though, on the same side of the grid. This is how the championship looks. Mark has a 9-point lead over Clemens Hecker now, just 1 point clear of Jonathan Andre, and then Bradley Smith on 28 points after his corrected time. I forgot about that, actually, I must admit. So he will now be behind Jonathan Andre, of course. John Newell on 26 points, Luke Garrett on 22, Louis Requenco and Stefan Kirsch both on 14. Christian Ruppert on 7 points after 3 races. So a fantastic first race of the day here at Misano. It's been lovely to have the conditions hold away for now. Not sure if we'll get any rain later on, but as is always the case at Misano, it's either really hot or really rainy. But we hope you've enjoyed this first race of the weekend. Norbert Kish. Sorry, first race of the weekend. Flipping heck, it's definitely not been that long a weekend yet, Chaz. First race of the day from Norbert Kish winning, Jochen Hahn second, Antonio Albacetti in third. We will then have the final live stream, as you see on the left-hand side of the screen there, at 5 to 4 Central European Summertime. It's hard to keep up with sometimes with the British summertime and all the changeover. But still, someone that's got to get used to that as well is Mark Taylor. He's down there with Lena. I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'll speak to you later.
I really think Mark got used to the sweet taste of champagne and having some more trophies in his shelf. So he's like, let's go, let's speed it up a little more, and let's collect a little more of these battles and trophies, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah, why not? You've got to have a good weekend when you come. The team's worked very hard. So, yeah, we had a setback yesterday with the water hose, but like I said, we've come back this morning fighting.
Oh, also I realized you're much stronger on the field, like talking about fighting. When I saw you the very first time, you were more like in the field, like also going to the side in case someone was like trying to fight with you. No, you're like, here I am. Just this is my way, and you leave me alone. So you're much stronger now.
Yeah. You have to learn the other drivers and how to race. You try and race cleanly, and now it's time to battle. Now I'm learning the way.
Yeah, I really like that new personality of yours. Keep doing whatever you're doing. It's very nice. You also have your family with you all the time. Your dad is always here. What does that support mean to you?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's good to have all the family here. Everybody loves the sport. Everybody loves coming. So it's brilliant having everybody with you.
All right. So you have some recovery time now, time to get you in shape and the truck in shape, and then we see you on reverse grid later on. Congratulations again. And I see you at 3:55, I guess it was, for race number 4 here in Italy, Misano. See you in a sec.